Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a lovely 37mm rose gold Roger Dubuis Hommage bi-retrograde Perpetual calendar from the Hommage collection, celebrating Roger Dubuis and Switzerland's complicated watchmaking heritage. A former employee of Patek Philippe in the complications department, Dubuis struck out in the mid-90s and founded his own company, initially known as Sogem, later by its trade name Roger Dubuis. The firm was an early pioneer of independent horology and one of the most significant of the 1990s. People love the early homage and sympathy watches, and this timepiece is sublime. So 37mm in rose gold, the watch, which is increasingly collectible, measures 11mm thick and 44.1mm from lug tip to lug tip. There's a very traditional 18mm spacing between the lugs, so in many regards it wears like a 20th century dress watch, which, truth be told, it is a late 20th century dress watch. The timepiece wears beautifully on my 16cm circumference wrist, and you can see it's nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Down the barrel in particular, you can see it's not coming close, and it sits low enough to slide underneath the dress cuff, so it looks like a dress watch and it works like a dress watch. I can recommend it for wrists as small as 13.5cm circumference. The strap is large rectangular scale alligator leather, semi-gloss finish, a lot of bolstering or stuffing to give it thickness, monotone black stitch folded edge, and then you can see on the underside it is calfskin, and this is a brand new Roger Dubuis factory strap matched to the Roger Dubuis factory pin buckle, which is alternately satinated and polished for contrast. And the same is true of the case. A simple case, it features blended lugs, an homage to the great Genevois dress watches of the 20th century, particularly the 40s, 50s, and 60s. As you can see, it's a contrast between the satin sides and the polish of the lug hoods, the case top, and the bezel. There's a little bit of a double step, drawing the bezel back from the case band to visually pare down the mass, and the bezel itself is very gently concave all the way around its polished circumference. You can see the Roger Dubuis logo in the crown, and you can see that the timepiece includes a lovely black lacquered dial. It's glossy, gleaming, and gives you a lot of the visual thrill of enamel. There's the bi-retrograde Perpetual calendar system, first developed by Roger Dubuis and Jean-Marc Viderecht of Agenor back in 1989 for the first modern high horology Harry Winston watch, which was a bi-retrograde Perpetual just like this one. So this Perpetual calendar module, designed by Dubuis and Viderecht, is very historically important, having helped to launch not just the Harry Winston watch brand, but also in watches like the Sympathy and the Hommage, the modern-day independent horology movement. By retrograde, with day and date in retrograde form, you've got the month and the quantième bissextile or leap year scale up at 12 o'clock. There's a moon phase down at 6 o'clock, and you'll notice two things. First, Bulletin d'Observatoire. The movement, caliber 5707, was tested and certified as a chronometer at the observatory in Besançon, France. And unlike the COSC, that was a fully cased-up watch test, not bare movement. You can also see that in addition to its chronometer certification, the movement features the Poinçon de Genève, the Geneva hallmark, and you'll note it is double registered on the barrel bridge as well as on the base plate. So you're looking at a high standard of finish. This is all Geneva hallmark. The caliber is adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. Pivots on 30 jewels, and its twin mainspring barrels automatically wound for a 44-hour power reserve and a very even torque release. So that's the advantage of twin barrels. You don't have a big drop-off in amplitude after 10, 20, 24 hours. The twin barrels help to even that out. The base movement is the Longines L990, which is a thin and fine tractor movement, often used on complications. First developed in the late 70s, it's been used by many, including Roger Dubuis, Breguet, and Vianney Halter, among many, many others. It is a thin, fine movement here, elevated to the state of the art by high levels of adjustment and finishing. All of this 30 meters water resistant, and of course, a perpetual calendar. It can deal with irregular length months and leap years. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.